Hello friends, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Neetu Jain, working as Associate Professor at Indian Institute of Public Administration, New Delhi. Today, we are going to discuss about the topic Making Training Session Effective 1. Before starting the discussion, let's have a look at the contents. Introduction to planning and preparation of a training or input session, followed by summary. After completing this module, the students will be able to explain the techniques a trainer can keep in mind before opening a session or during the session. Discuss the significance of using non-verbal communication while delivering presentation. Prepare effectively for a training session. Planning and preparation of an input session. There are three parts of it: before the session, opening a session and during the session. Before the start of the input session. 1. Selecting the appropriate approach. 2. Managing butterflies. 3. Session planning. 4. The training environment. Selecting the appropriate approach. What type of approach a trainer would select would depend on the content of training and the audience. Managing butterflies. While waiting to start speaking, take several deep breaths. Rehearse the opening part until you are word perfect. Clench and unclench your fists, of course out of sight. Speak more slowly than you usually do. Start with simple things before moving on to complex arguments. How to plan for a session before entering into a session. Keep the following things with you: a session brief. You need to list headlines on A4 size sheet. Enter interheading summarized notes. Edit the brief for final content and keep a session brief working copy. A presenter's toolkit. A presenter or a trainer needs to keep following things in order to make delivery effective. He or she should construct a small but efficient toolkit containing one pad of papers, could be A4 or A5 size sheets, pens, pencils, marker pens, an adhesive tape, calculator and a stapler. Training environment. Training environment is physical and psychological environment a trainer creates during the session. So, what are the things which needs to be checked immediately prior to the event related to environment and other lead aspects? Environmental aspects. These are some of the barriers to effective environment. If the room is too large, room is too small, there are pillars in large room, there is improper lighting, there is too much of lighting or too less of lighting, there are tables lying here and there, irrelevant decoration or retained posters on the wall that would deviate the attention of the trainees, glass doors which would induce them to look out while the session is going on, or windows, platform or a podium. These things would hinder the learning of the learners. Opening a presentation or a session. While opening a presentation or a session, what things a trainer needs to take into account are: introduction, describe the framework of the session, set the mood and seek expectations. So, let us discuss these things at length. Opening a presentation or session. Introduction. Be sure how you are going to make it. Start with a bang, grab their attention. Success depends upon catching the group's attention right from the start and of course maintaining this attention also. After your introduction, pause to encourage attention. Describe the framework of session, particularly if it is going to contain several approaches or is complex. A trainer needs to tell them what he is going to tell them. He should describe briefly not only the stages he will be following, but also a brief summary of what will be included. He should determine his questioning strategy. When will he accept questions, in the end or at any time during the training? Set the mood. Use humor. Light-hearted approach will let the learning group know that the session will not be too heavy. Use of quotation must be relevant and add something to the opening. Ensure that group can relate to it and keep it short. Asking a question to start to involve them. It lets the group know that you want to involve them and that the session is going to be interactive. Start involvement with a short introductory or ice-breaking activity. Knowledge and level of skill of the group can be assessed in a natural and apparently non-testing manner. Seek expectations. What do they expect from the program? What can they do to make it better? What are the hopes for and needs from the event? And what are the concerns and fears about the event? During the presentation, what a trainer needs to take into account during the presentation, because the purpose is to get your message across and you will need to use a range of strategies. A number of factors can help. Where to look, how to stand, making your case, using your voice, using effective non-verbal communication, and having an effective communication strategy. Where to look? Staring at individuals for longer than normal time is bad. Looking over the heads of people all the time, or maybe looking at the clock at the back of the room is bad. Rattling keys or coins in your pocket is again not recommended. How to stand? Stand as naturally as the circumstance allows you to, without a hand in your pocket. If a table is provided, move from behind it and stand at its side. Do not sit on the corner of a table or in a front central position. Otherwise, you may be tempted to swing your legs. A podium is worse to be behind than a table if it is tall. It will hide you and lessen your contact with the group. Do not stand rooted to the spot with no movement. At the same time, don't go to the other extreme and prowl around in front of the group all the time you are talking. Making your case. Major part of the session will be making your case, imparting the knowledge or describing the relevant skills. To do this, following a logical and clear structure is recommended. State in summary form your view, description, etc. Develop your arguments, showing evidence and proof to support them. Repeat in summarized form the arguments you have delivered. See questions, views and agreements. Summarize the key points of the session. Using your voice. However well prepared, interesting and informative your material may be, but if you present it in an ineffective manner, there is a little guarantee that learning will be achieved. How you use your voice can have a significant impact on how you are received. A useful mnemonic is 4P. The first P is project your voice, so that volume is linked to the size of the group or room. ensuring everyone can hear without difficulty. Second P is pronounce. Pronounce your words carefully. Have you a regional accent? Could it cause some people problems? So try to overcome this. Third P, pause. Pause frequently. Doing so gives you the time to think about what you are saying and what you will say next. Also gives the listeners the time to catch up with the contents of the words. Fourth P, pace variation. A delivery at a constant pace becomes monotonous and is likely to turn off the listeners. Another mnemonic is MERK, M-E-R-K. M means modulate the tone of your voice to make it interesting. E means emphasize certain parts of your speaking for effect. R, repeat keywords and phrases to emphasize their importance and to ensure understanding and recall. K, keep your eyes away from your notes, only glancing at them when you want to refer to something or remind you of your progress. Using effective non-verbal communication. It has been indicated by research that words contribute 7%, voice is 38%, and contribution of visuals is 55%. So our gestures, postures, facial expression, eye gaze, mannerism, these are very important part of our body language which we need to take into account. Having an effective questioning strategy. Useful technique to involve the learner at different stages is to ask questions which can help to involve them by speaking. It can elicit information. It can help to determine the level of knowledge or experience of individuals. A trainer should ask open questions rather than closed ones. For example, have you experience of managing people? It is a close-ended question because answer can be only in yes or no. Another question, what experience have you had of managing people? So this is an open-ended question, as the trainees will describe their experience rather than simply putting their answer in yes or no form. Questions can be asked at 3 progressive levels. Number 1, establishing facts. What happened when you did that? Second, eliciting feelings. How did you feel about what happened? Identifying values. For identifying values, questions such as, what did this mean for you can be asked. Correct and incorrect answers. Even when questions seeking answers are posed correctly and answered, these answers may be correct, partially correct or incorrect. Whichever, there is usually some relevant action to take. If the answer is correct, you will need to check that the other learners have understood it or agree with it. It is necessary to ask, does everybody go along with that? Is there anything anyone would like to add to it? Can anyone give an example? If answer is partially correct or incorrect, further questions can be asked. Listening. Good listening and questioning skills, of course, separate good trainers from average or poor trainers. Listening is very important for a trainer. Summary. Plan well in advance your delivery, your presentation. Start with a positive note and open in an effective manner. Use simple language. Make your point in a structured and sequenced way. Make it more interactive. Use effective questioning techniques. Use non-verbal communication, your body language effectively. Move around while talking. Get rid of disfluencies, ums and ers. Speak slowly and clearly than you usually do. Maintain eye contact, modulate your voice, provide variety by making use of exercises and games. Use as much visual material as possible. Graphics, posters, overhead projectors, slides and so on, as a picture is worth 1,000 words. Make use of icebreakers, energizers, session shakers. Then summarize frequently. Use examples and analogies, particularly real life ones. Respond to the audience needs, answering their unspoken question, what is in it for me? Satisfy their objectives. That's all, friends. Thank you.